5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, Waylon.
Who's the bear?
Tell that to the brave crew of the SS Triangle.
Welcome to Sacrilicious with Robin and Snurds, a Simpsons review podcast. I'm your lovable nerd Snurds, aka Joshua Stearns, and joining me is the equally delightful Robin. Don't have a cow, coward.
Yo, Josh, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. It's Father's Day, so both of our fathers have passed, and it did make me a little teary-eyed yesterday because I found Canadian currency that he left me randomly from one of his trips, and I'm going to Canada the first week of July.
Oh,
and
no kidding!
So I'm going to bring it with me, so I have a little bit of tip money. It's like $4 or $5.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And it was the weirdest thing because you don't really know what's going to trigger the memory and have the emotions coming to you. And I found it so funny that I was going through coins and a $2 bill, and I was like, "My dad's the best. I love him."
It's like that. I mean, it's always like that when you lose parents and the people you love in your life. It's just random moments that'll just pop in there and get you. But my dad used to do that same thing, Josh. Like my dad, he worked for Coca-Cola for over 40 years, and he traveled all over the place, and he would bring back coins and things from different places. And I used to collect it. I don't know where they are now though.
Yeah, I do like coins. I have a ton not a ton, I guess. I have a fair amount of the 50-cent pieces that have JFK on it. I also have the giant silver dollars with Eisenhower as well. Those are real coins, man. That Eisenhower one is a beast. And then other than that, I'm just trying to, deal with, once again, Los Angeles having kind of a rough year this year. We started with fires in January, and now we're doing this now with the ice raids and stuff like that, and people getting kidnapped on the street. It's kind of shitty. I don't like my town being in the news.
This is fine. Everything's fine, Josh. I mean, you just had the U.S. military come in as a invading force, basically, but it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm sure they love sleeping on the concrete floor, not having food or other kind of support for basic needs. It's like I was telling friends, don't worry about LA. We're doing just fine.
Of course.
I've seen wilder protests and riots and whatnot after the Lakers win than I have for this.
LA loves to riot, frankly.
Yeah.
But it's good. I promote more rioting. Like the French, as they say, will riot if the price of eggs goes up 2 cents. We should be in the streets. We should be in the streets all day, every day. Disrupting things until they, start to act right.
I also don't care if Waymos catch on fire because they're not someone's cab. They're not someone's car. It's some rich company that has insurance that's going to get paid out.
I heard a hilarious joke about Waymos. At some point, somebody's going to die in there, and it's just going to continue going. And it's like the family's like, "Oh, grandma's here. Oh, go get her, kids."
She just flops out of the car.
Oh God.
But enough about that. If this is your first episode of Sacrilicious with Robin and Snurds, here's how it works. One of us will pick an episode of The Simpsons. We will discuss the plot, provide questionable impressions, and point out our favorite bits. This time, Robin picked from season 14, episode 17, 3 Gays of the Condo, directed by Mark Kirkland and written by Matt Warburton, for the first air date of 4/13/2003. So, Robin, why did you pick this episode?
Well, it's Pride Month and International Pride Month in June, and as a member of the Legitiqua tribe, always want to celebrate as much as possible. Looking around this day and age, we sure still need it, and so wanted to choose an episode related to that because the Simpsons were ahead of their time. They don't do a ton of gay episodes, but
They have a
but
few here and there.
they did challenge the norm, which I always liked.
Yeah, I mean, they usually have like they'll do a pride parade joke, and it shows like Patty and Smithers in the closet, or maybe it's
Hmm.
Selma. I might be getting the sisters mixed up. But this is one that is heavily focused on the gay community. And I remember it being advertised as, "Ooh, this is the episode where Homer is going to be kissed by a man," and they made such a big deal out of it. Uh, and it was just a little smooch. It wasn't even like full on tongue or anything like that.
Josh, Josh, it sounds like you're kind of looking for that, and you didn't get what you were
Oh,
looking
if
for.
they were saying like, "Oh, yeah, I wanted some hot Rule 34 Homer and Grady action,"
Josh had the Kleenex at the ready.
yeah. Yeah, and so why don't we get into our first and early segment? We'll do the behind the wiki. Wiki. It's very light this round. I have 2 little comments and some guest stars. Okay, we'll do the guest stars first because those are easy. Scott Thompson as Grady. He is
So
from
Scott
Kids in the
Thompson
Hall.
from Kids in the Hall. Did you
Yep.
watch Kids in the Hall?
Every once in a while. That wasn't my favorite. I didn't really get the humor when I was a kid. Maybe I'll get it more as an adult because it was very like offbeat, kind of awkward
Oh yeah.
humor
Oh
type
yeah.
of deal. And then Weird Al Yankovic plays himself. Yay, Weird Al! We love you, Weird Al! Yay!
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about Weird Al recently too.
Yep.
Did you see the movie they did with Daniel Radcliffe?
No, I'll see it
I still haven't
eventually.
seen it too.
Yeah, eventually it'll be
Yeah.
on Max or Tubi or something like that.
I was thinking I would love to rewatch UHF too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, me either.
All right, so first little fun fact. Harvey Fierstein, who was asked to reprise his role as Carl from the second season episode Simpson and Elia in a cameo appearance, he felt, however, that the script was, quote, a lot of very clever gay jokes and there just wasn't that Simpsons twist, so he turned down the role. And I love Simpson and Delilah. That's one of my favorite episodes. And I think it's kind of funny. I mean, we'll mention this at the end too, but that's going to be our next episode that we do for the podcast. And once again, none of this is really planned.
Is messing with us at this
right?
point. Like,
yeah.
We completely did not at all reference that before it happened.
And then we have the jigsaw puzzle that the family built is titled Concert in Golden Gate Park. And writer Michael Price pitched a joke where Homer drools, Ferlinghetti, in reference to Lawrence Ferlinghetti, the poet laureate of San Francisco.
It was cut for some reason.
Yeah, like because maybe nobody knows who that person is.
Like, he wouldn't exactly, gonna, bring the whole walls down that one. So
no, not at all. So yeah, and that's it. That's all there was on this Wikipedia page. It was not a lot of information there, and I didn't get a chance to watch the DVD commentary for that one. Did you at all?
No, I don't have those on DVD. I've been watching them on Disney. But the one thing that I did look up is to see if there was any controversy. I mean, 2003 was still really early in America because America in having 2 guys kiss on screen. I mean, at that point, there's still a lot of firsts going on. So it was pretty ahead of time. And I looked it up to see if there's controversy. There was like, groups like really actively against it. And there wasn't a ton of that. The biggest criticism I saw was that they were a bit stereotypical, especially with like Julio in this.
Oh, very much so.
Which I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I understand how you could get there, but I don't know. It didn't bother me at all.
I also thought it was
a lot of people actually celebrated the way he did it too.
Nice. I also thought this was an interesting juxtaposition between Homer's Phobia, which was the last big gay episode, that one that we did, and it cut with John Waters as the guest.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was kind of interesting because in that one, it's all about Homer getting over his hate and homophobia. That's what I was looking for. I kept saying, I was wanting to say Homer's phobia. I'm like, no, that's the episode title. It's based off of something else. Brain, work, please, brain.
I think we should from now on, whenever we call somebody homophobic, we should call him Homerphobic.
Yeah, there you go. And they even have a line in here. He's like, oh, what's going to win out? My old prejudices or, this new situation that I'm in or whatever. But yeah, it's a interesting kind of topic here and definitely fits for Pride Month. So let's start with our couch gag. It made me hungry because they have a deep fried version of the family
They
that they
do.
throw.
They like frying some chicken nuggets.
Yep, and then I like how they have the little salt shaker at the end. Was a
Yeah,
nice touch. That was
they
cute.
dump them on, but they do look delectable.
Yep, and we open up with Homer, Bart, and Lisa, and it's Family Wednesday, and they're waiting to see what activity Marge will pick. I love this line from Homer. He goes, "I hope it's as fun as Pictionary was last week." And then Bart replies, "We weren't playing Pictionary. That was an intervention to stop your drinking."
And then Bart shows him the picture, and it's like Homer drunk, and it's
Yeah,
like a child's picture, and the kids are like crying.
and he's like chugging a
It's like
beer,
that brings back memories.
and he's chugging a beer while he's looking at the picture, and then he throws it behind him.
Yeah, it is well written and animated.
And that's going to be a big theme of the episode is just Homer's drinking and how it impacts the family. So Marge picks a jigsaw puzzle. It's called Concert in the Golden Gate Park, as I said before, ages 8 to 80. And then we show Grandpa and Maggie. He's like, "We know when we're not wanted," and they storm off, which is cute.
And Maggie gives a little,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that was
great.
really cute.
It's great.
Do you ever do jigsaws growing up?
Oh hell yeah, my mother loved. So we would go to the beach in South Carolina every summer, and we would always lay out on this one particular table a jigsaw puzzle
Okay,
that we
cool.
would do. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. We wouldn't do it at the beach because we're just living in our apartments or our house. But they would have like a giant card table usually that'll have a puzzle
Mm-hmm.
on, and they'll like pull up the chairs and whatnot, and work on it while watching a movie or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
good old times. So there's a fun visual gag here of Marge dumping out the pieces, and then there's a pause, and then even more pieces fall out, and it's a ridiculous amount of pieces. Like there's no way in hell that fit in that little box.
It's just pouring out. It's like a mound that's high as the couch. Of
Yeah,
puzzle
yeah,
pieces.
absolutely. And then Bart is like, "I'm too cool for this activity," and he's like, I'm out of here." He opens up the door, and
Says
it's Millhouse, right? You got this line?
because he goes, "Go crazy, dorks! I got better things to do." And the doorbell rings, and it's Millhouse, and he's like, "Hey Bart, I fixed my rock tumbler. What do you say we turn this baby loose on some feldspar?" Which I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's a rock.
I'm like some
And
kind of rock, I'm assuming.
Bart like slams the door in
Yeah.
his face and turns to him. He's like, "Never mind, I'm in."
So they work on this puzzle all day, and it turns to night, and we see the clock. It reads 4:20, and then Marge is like, "Ooh, look how late it is. Let's get you kids some coffee." Homer, no scissors.
We both love that line. Marge is not like, "Oh, it's getting late. Maybe we should stop for the night." She's like, "No, no, no. Let me make you kids some coffee."
Yeah, I also like how Homer's whining. He's like, "But that's how the pros do it," while he's trying to cut pieces.
Is that a thing, Josh? I'm pretty sure that goes against
It
the
seems like it goes against the
code
principle.
of the jigsaw community.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so this puzzle is going to take many, many moons to complete.
But they're
'Cause-
invested. Like that's the
yeah.
idea is that they're invested.
And Bart, instead of having a lunch, he gets like more puzzle pieces to work on. And then we have a
They're
little
just
bit of back and
sorting them
forth with
all. Yeah.
Milhouse and Nelson. So I like how, Nelson's like, Bart's so poor, he has to eat cardboard. And then
Bob's
Milhouse is like, "What
"What
are
are you
you
eating?"
eating?" Yeah. And then he's like, "Drywall."
Then he like takes a bite and then he gets a little cough and
Yep.
like dust flies out of his mouth.
And apparently Homer is also engaged in this because he hasn't gone to work in a week. So Lenny and Carl stop by the house to make sure everything's
They're
okay.
like checking in.
Yeah, and I love this little back and forth between Carl and Lenny and Lisa. And Carl's basically like, "What is he doing now? Is he a rodeo clown?" Lenny wants to know if he's Poochie again. And then Lisa's just kind of very much like, "We're working on a jigsaw puzzle." And then Carl goes, "Oh, I guess he's done with all the fun stuff."
I guess he's done with all the fun stuff. He's not an astronaut. He's working on a jigsaw puzzle. Okay.
And Homer looks to be going mad working on this puzzle. His eyes
His
are
eyes are
bloodshot.
like bloodshot. Yeah.
He
I can't tell. Is there an old coconut or Tom Hayden?
yeah. He thinks Lenny is like a puzzle piece through a hallucination, and then
'Cause
like
Lenny's
violently tries
like,
to like shove his face into the picture. Like it's kind of wild.
Homer's like, Lenny's like, Homer, like maybe you should come back to work, buddy.
Yeah.
Nope.
So they finally finish the puzzle, and it's so big that they have to like kind of sprawl it onto the backyard. I want to know
Mhm.
how they were able to move it. right? Because
Oh, you move it in quadrants,
I guess,
like
man,
I've been there.
maybe put it
I've
on
been
top of
there.
like a tablecloth and then drag the tablecloth out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're lucky, but that's a big ass. It's gonna come apart a little bit. You just try and
Yeah.
like keep it mostly together.
So the family's admiring their hard work, and stupid Flanders has to point out that there's a piece missing.
Wait.
Yeah.
First, they're looking at it, and Homer goes, "It's the only worthwhile thing I've ever made that wasn't Lisa."
Oh yeah.
Maggie gives him this look like, "Uh-huh," and he's like, "Prove me wrong, Silent Bob,"
There you go.
which is prevalent because I just saw the re-release of Dogma, Josh.
Ooh, I like Dogma.
Yes,
I'm
with
looking
Jay
forward to
and
seeing
Silent
that
Bob,
again.
one of the
Yeah.
great movies of all time.
Yeah, I think that's my
And
favorite. That's my favorite Kevin Smith movie, I think.
it's
by
my
a-
favorite Kevin Smith
Yeah.
movie, yeah. But then the funniest joke in the entire episode, in my opinion, I don't know, there's a lot of great jokes in this, is Flanders comes over and he goes, "Ooh, that's quite a thingamajigsaw, but it looks like you're missing a piece." And Homer turns to him and goes, "Looks like you're missing a wife."
Yeah. And then Ned just kind of goes, "Ha! Walked right into that one."
It is such an antisocial, like hardcore thing to say to somebody. I find it absolutely hilarious, and the fact that Flanders doesn't even react is even funnier.
Well, that's good old Ned. He only freaks out once in a blue moon, right?
Yeah, and when he does, it is not pretty.
Damn straight. So now the family is on the hunt for the missing piece, which is the head of a musician. Bart looks under the couch and he's like, "Hey, remember that pet gerbil we used to have? He didn't run away after all." What I like about this
It's
joke is that he
messy.
doesn't like pick up the
Yeah,
gerbil and
it's
just
like under the couch
dispose of the.
cushion.
He just closes the couch cushion. That must smell so
Oh
bad.
God! So, yeah, but everybody knows that smell, and it's
Yeah.
not good. Oof.
Especially like when like Skinner is like, when he found Super Dude and he was like, "Oof,"
Oh yeah,
like,
oh yeah, oh yeah. He could smell it from the doorway.
yeah.
So I love Homer is searching for the piece, and he goes, "Puzzle piece, come out to play."
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
like the Warriors.
the Warriors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
play.
Hey.
Then he finds we see a couple things in the closet there. There's a Pen Pal shirt and the Mr. Plow jacket. Now, in season 8 with the John Waters character had Homer's Pen Pal shirt. So somehow he got it back from John. Maybe it was a gift.
Yeah, I mean, it's a callback. They couldn't do it if he didn't get it back. So, but he's Homer, so maybe he spilled something on one and gave it away, and they got another one.
Yeah, that's true. They could have one of their bowling
It's
shirts.
entirely
there.
possible. I'm making up a backstory.
So instead of a puzzle piece, Homer finds Marge's memory chest, and inside there are Homer's fake business card claiming that he's a quarterback, a T-shirt from their first rock concert that says Rolling Stones '89 last tour ever. I thought that was hilarious.
It's great. It's great.
And then there's what would you call that? Was that like a flyer or is that like a placemat? Because it was a pretty big piece of paper for Moe's opening. I guess it would be a flyer.
Yeah, it's like a promotional flyer kind of a thing. Yeah, definitely.
And then there's a flashback to that night, and we see a young Moe who's opening up his bar, and he's like, "Welcome to Moe's, home of the finest crystal in Springfield." Then he touches the shelf, it falls, and everything breaks.
It crashes.
And he's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have cheaped out on the shelf."
It hurts when I see that. I do love a nice crystal. I love how he also Mo has spelled his bar MEAUX. Moe's.
Like super fancy. Pinky's up. I also like how Homer has a line too. He's like, "We look so young in that memory I just had." It's very random. And there's writing on the back of the flyer detailing how awful the date actually was. Because Homer is just remembering it. It's like, "Oh, it's a great time. It's one of our earliest dates." But Marge did not enjoy the drunken jerk who was focusing playing video games instead of hanging out with her.
No, I mean, the line he reads is pretty damning. It says, "Dear Homer, I can't believe you're making this the worst night of my life.
You leave me sitting here all alone while you play video games with your Neanderthal friends."
There you go. Yeah, it's pretty damning there. And we'll have a clip for this, but I love how he's like, Marge, I need to keep playing this game with both hands, and can you feed me nachos?
She's already mad.
Yeah, she's already mad.
And she's like, why don't you just stop playing?
Yeah, and then Homer goes, tell that to the brave crew of the SS Triangle. It's the
He's playing
evil
Asteroid.
Yeah, it's the
Asteroid
evil
game.
rocks. Take that. And the hits keep on coming because he goes, I love you, Atari.
Marge, come here. Marge, I need both hands for this game. Can you feed me nachos while I play?
Why don't you just stop playing?
Tell that to the brave crew of the SS Triangle. It's the evil rocks. Take that.
Fucking idiot.
He's like, this is wonderful. I love you. And he pauses, and Marge is like, and he's like, Atari.
So bad.
She's having a terrible time. She goes, Homer, I really don't want to feed you. And he says, come on, you're always saying we should do things as a couple.
Yeah, and then later that night, they're walking out of...
such a jerk in this.
Yeah, and they're walking out of the place later, and he's like, let's go make out by that garbage can or whatever. Oh, wait, hold on. And then he pukes into the bushes.
Puking.
He starts to suffer from alcohol poisoning, so a paramedic has to show up.
When Marge is sitting there like, this is great, like video games, too much beer, and you know how to show me a good time. And, she's having a terrible
Well,
night.
who wants to make out with like nacho beer breath, right?
To be fair, he did ask for it before he threw up.
That's true. And I love how the paramedic goes, young man, you've ingested a dangerous amount of alcohol. And Homer replies, the only dangerous amount is none.
I also love the next part where he fights out of their grip and gets off the guard. He's like, let's go to IHOP. I'm driving, and jumps in.
Yeah, he tries to steal the ambulance.
They're like, come on now. And he's like, okay, Burger King.
Yeah. And then Marge writes down the rest of her feelings, and they go as following. Tonight I learned the two of us can't work. I don't want a life of watching you get drunk, then holding back your long, beautiful hair while you vomit. I have my own dreams, and I can't live them with you. So pretty damning stuff.
Because he says, like, why did she stay if she hated me? Because it sounds like she hates him.
Right. And then he finds an appointment card in her box of memories. And basically, she's pregnant with Bart by this time.
And he's like, that's it. That's the only reason that she's with me. She hates me.
So then Marge comes into the room after Homer makes this discovery.
And of course, she's found the piece, and she's super bubbly.
Yes.
And he's just been devastated.
And you like the little song that they sing. Because...
So she's like, I found the puzzle piece. It was under Maggie's eyelid. And he goes, how about that? She's like, it's James Taylor. He's like, oh, the popular singer-songwriter puzzle piece, James Taylor. And she's like, homie, you remember that song we used to see? Mock, yeah. Ing, yeah. Whatever. And that's what she does. Something's wrong because
and she's like, well, is it that billboard my sisters put up? And we see Homer out of Springfield vote yes on 104, and then the panel shifts to Patty and Selma kicking him out of like the city line basically. And then Homer replies back, no, the voters will decide that in November. Like, how wild is that?
It's like, it is completely the response of somebody who's confident that their campaign will win. It's great.
I also love the idea that Patty and Selma would spend their disposable income on like a billboard and fighting for this proposition, you know?
Well, yeah, and they had to get all the signatures. Like, there's a lot of investment here. Hello, Springfield. This is Patty and Selma Bouvier, and we urge you to vote yes on Prop 104. Homer out of Springfield.
Just about everybody in town has had to deal with this pungent person, be it shoving people out of the way.
Whoa, a free movie, thanks! Out of my way, jerk ass!
Or laughing at old men.
Did you see that jerk?
Or assaulting people.
Like people, some of them are just jerks. Stop that, Mr. Simpson.
Springfield has had enough, and a clear message must be delivered this November. Vote yes on 104. Let's make Springfield jerk-free again.
Paid for by the No Homers Clubs and Sister-in-Laws Anonymous. And then we also have basically Homer confronts Marge about the message, and he says, like, well, I love you, of course, but a lot of things you do still drive me crazy. So you mean our whole marriage? You've been resenting me behind my back? A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
And that was like the most honest reply ever. I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense.
There's a little joke that I liked there, Josh, where when he confronts her with it, and she's like, "Where did you find it?" And he's like, "More where didn't I find it? It was practically everywhere."
Oh yeah.
And of course, he had to dig in the closet, open this locked, like taped shut case to get it.
Yeah.
That was silly, pretty silly.
I also like how he doesn't want to sleep in the same bed with Marge, so he sleeps with
He
Bart.
stomps off, yeah.
And then he's like crying, and it's like, and Bart's trying to sleep, and he has this great line: "Time to repress another memory. I'm at Disneyland." Disneyland.
It's not just crying; like he's like weeping. He is like breaking down next to Bart. He's like, "Not another one, not another one." Classic.
The next morning, Homer is still acting like a bitch. He tried to make breakfast, and we see a soupy yellow mix, and apparently it was supposed to be a muffin. I thought it was eggs. So did Marge. And then he's like, "No, it's a muffin." And you like this whole setup, right? Because like we get this like very weird visual gag as well.
Marge is like, "I'll fix you something." He's like, "Oh, I get it. Your stupid husband is too drunk to do it right." She's like, "Where there are a lot of beer cans around here. Now it's breakfast, of course."
Yeah.
And he's so defensive.
And then he continues about like walking on eggshells. Like, "I'm sick of walking on eggshells." And Marge is like, "Well, stop throwing them on the floor."
And she like he's kicking, eggshells and beer cans around.
Right.
Oh my gosh, she's like, Homer, we've been married for 10 years. It's not always going to be perfect. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were counting the years."
And again, I just love the idea that like Homer is just littering everywhere for some reason. Like, he just drinks a beer, throws it away, throws it on the ground. It's very strange.
It's great. Yeah, so, he's been throwing beers on the ground a lot in this episode. He's not very thoughtful, Josh. It doesn't appear he's very thoughtful.
They make his drinking.
I love when Marge goes. Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say they just make him like a really bad drunk, like extra sloppy, extra stupid, getting drunk all the time.
I like how when she says, "Well, maybe," he's like, I don't want to. I'm tired of walking on eggshells," and she goes, "Maybe if you didn't throw them on the floor." And he goes, "Now you're just making up rules, like Judy and executioner." It's really funny the way he says.
Yeah, the Judge Judy and executioner part was cute.
Classic.
Yeah. So Homer's packing a bag while a concerned Bart and Lisa watch, and I just love this whole thing. Like, basically Bart is like, "You're not going to get divorced like Milhouse's parents, are you?" No. This is nothing like Milhouse's parents. Now, if you need me, I'll be staying with Milhouse's father.
Which is tragic. We all know how tragic Kurt Van Houten is.
Yes. Yeah, he's definitely the lovable loser that like they love to pick on in that show, right?
So we cut to his apartment complex. What is it called again?
Bachelor Arms. Did you leave your wife? Then we got a place for you.
Are you crying yourself to sleep because she left you? Why cry alone when there's an entire complex to weep with you?
Kids won't talk to you anymore? Fuck them! Replace their love and admiration with Wacky Wednesdays featuring not one, but 2 Captain Wackies.
Bachelor Arms Apartments has all the modern features. Race car beds, knobless doors, on-site assistance with wills if you are contemplating suicide, and a gym!
So stop by our front office today and we'll show you the apartment of your dreams. Or nightmares!
Why did she leave me?
I miss Annabelle.
I miss my kids. Bachelor Arms. And they have this sign out front, and it says 3 days since last suicide.
And you hear a gunshot.
And it just automatically flips to 0.
So dark. That's like
so dark.
That might be the darkest joke of this episode. And then I love how Kirk is like, "Oh, welcome to my place. I just have a few rolls. If you see a necktie on the doorknob, I'm with a lady."
Homer goes, "You don't have a doorknob."
I don't have a tie either. Just go label your food.
It's great. It's great. So then they're like, Homer's on the couch going to sleep, and you hear Kirk just like moaning and weeping in the next room. He's like, "Oh, Luann," and it starts to pull back in the complex,
Yep.
and like everybody starts weeping. It's like, and it's just like cacophonous. It's great.
Like everybody in this apartment is a divorce
Everybody
loser.
it's a large complex. It's hilarious.
It's massive. It's like 3 giant buildings that are like 4 or 5 stories each. Like it's a lot of people.
We should probably take note.
Yeah, so Homer is kind of tired of hearing the weeping saps, and he goes on a walk. He mistakes Flanders for Marge because of the silhouette, which is kind of silly. And then I love how there's randomly a Springfield Rents news box in front of the Simpsons house, and Homer like
that's the joke, because he's like, how have I never noticed that before? Because it wasn't there.
Correct, and there's an apartment finder ad for "We Put You in Your Place," which is the tagline, which is pretty funny.
That's great.
Roommate wanted for 3-bedroom apartment, spacious Riverview, only $400 a month.
He's
Thank
getting
you,
really
Newsbox.
excited about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait,
he's
it's
excited.
gone. And then we see Cletus driving it with tied up to his truck, and he's like, "Oh, all right, I got to get a place for my spiduses."
So the little back and forth of, hey, I never noticed this newspaper box. Hey, it's got exactly the right place. Thanks, Newsbot. Where to go?
Yeah. It's like whenever you see a Simpsons character wearing a watch, they're going to look at their watch and then it will disappear. In the Weekend at Burnsies episode we did, there was a newspaper box at the end of the stage.
Exactly. It's just random. It's the boldness to do the random is one of the funny things about the Simpsons writers.
Yep. So the next day, Homer is checking out the neighborhood, and I love this line. And there sure are a lot of gay bookstores for a straight neighborhood. It's very
All
obvious.
the storefronts are rainbows.
Yeah, it's very obvious this is a gay neighborhood. I also love how, of course, he runs into Smithers, who's rollerblading and holding some groceries.
Naturally. And wearing like rainbow shorts.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Smithers!
Hello, Simpson.
What's the deal with this place? It's so manly, yet scented.
Yes, I seem to have gotten lost on my way to the big auto racing festival, so I've never been here before.
And he's trying to pull off a lie that he got here on accident, and then a trolley comes up, and there's a bunch of guys basically calling out to Smithers.
Hey, Waylon, who's the bear? Woof.
Oh, is that the Mr. Burns you're always talking about? No, he's nobody. Shut up, Stuart. Nice to meet you, Stuart. Homer waves as the trolley goes by.
And Homer's being super cool, and Smithers is like freaking out.
Hey, Waylon.
Who's the bear?
Oh, is that the Mr. Burns you're always talking about?
No, he's nobody. Shut up, Stuart.
Nice to meet you, Stuart.
Yep.
It's a damn shame what that closet will do to you, Josh.
Yes, very much so. Very repressed.
Absolutely.
So Homer meets his new roommates, Julio and Grady.
Grady and Julio, yep.
And they tell him that they are gay. Is there any of the lines that you like from this first encounter?
I mean, I love a lot, but when the first Grady goes, which is of course played by our favorite actor from Kids in the Hall, Scott Thompson.
Yes.
He goes, Homer, before you move in, you should know that Julio and I have an active social life. And Homer goes, me too. I'm a member of this club. If I eat one more sub, I get a free sub sandwich. You probably saw the ad where this guy used to be fat, but now he's just ugly. Obviously,
yeah, now we found out he's looking at kid porn too. Yay!
Oh, pedophiles.
I also love how he's like, which will win out? My old-fashioned prejudices or that I've already mixed my laundry with yours? How is that possible? How did he mix the laundry already?
Homer, he's good that way, but he goes, I'll have to sleep on it. And then Julio goes, he's sleeping in the pantry. And Grady's like, oh, my spices. No, he said it because we both know that if Homer sleeps in the pantry, those spices are going to taste a little different. He is a pungent individual often.
So the next morning, they're at the breakfast table, and it gave me big birdcage vibes. I don't know about you.
Julio's there reading the New York Times, and Homer goes, why are you reading the New York Times? You don't live in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, Homer.
I also like how Grady's making him breakfast, and Julio's like, "Where'd you buy this from? The guy on the exit ramp? Disgusting." And then Homer like claps back and was like, "Calm down, Picky Ricardo. He made us a great breakfast, and
Burn.
you're just riding his butt, and not in a good way."
I love that line. He's quit riding his butt, not in a good way.
Yeah. So
It is
the
too
fancy
good.
digs, the fancy breakfast, Homer's in, and he decides to move in. And then Grady goes, "Wow, with a gay male roommate, we can walk around naked." And Homer like is already disrobed and like way ahead of you.
I love how, so Julio's like, Grady, are you sure you want to live with him? Because it's either him or that girl who put Mother Earth as a reference. I love that. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't. Oh no. Oh no. Run away.
So back at the Simpsons house, Marge is talking to Lisa, and there's a cute line about her reading Homer a bedtime story. The phone next to her rings. It's Homer, and Lisa pulls out a Nancy Drew book. I thought that was adorable.
Oh, she's reading it to him, and it's so sweet. And
Next,
he
we get
gets
a
scared on the other side of the line, which is the funny part of that to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
when
yeah.
she's like, she picked out it's not the old windmill, it's a new windmill. And he's freaking out that you don't hear him. But she's like, no, I don't think she's gonna die.
Yeah, yeah,
It's so sweet.
yeah. Nice little role reversal of a parent and child there, right? So next we get some montages for shopping with his new roommates. But so Homer's trying on various clothings like every other shopping montage that we've seen before. But the joke is his belly just keeps popping out between the shirt and the pants until
Um,
he gets a girdle.
until he gets the girdle.
Yeah.
And then he looks okay. That girdle is working overtime, Joshua.
Yeah, that is one strong girdle. I also like how he goes to the salon and they cut like two of his hairs, right? And they're like, "That'll be $100." And he's like sipping an espresso, and he's like, "I
Like,
see." And he throws the coffee into the person's face and just runs.
It's like, ah, it just runs out of there. I like the music they're playing during that whole scene is in the western town of Deadwind World, the Eastern boys and Western girls.
There you go.
Western girls. Da-dum, da-dum.
So we're seeing the impacts of
Western
Homer
girls.
living with some gay roommates and getting a taste of the gay lifestyle. And he brings the kids back from some activities, and they're all praising him. They're like, "Wow, this is actually a great time, Dad. Thank you."
Dad took us antiquing, and along the way we took photos of interesting doors and gates.
Yeah, he's also so he strangles Bart, and Bart's like, "Whoa, what have you done with your hands? They're so soft."
He's like, "Oh, you noticed? I've been using baby foam." And Bart's like, "Oh, it shows. I haven't had a strangle that smooth since I was 4." It's such a good back and forth, like two girls gabbing at the salon.
Yeah. Lisa and Bart push Marge to apologize to Homer, and Lisa goes like, or Marge goes, "Lisa, marriage is a beautiful thing, but it's also a constant battle for moral superiority. So I can't apologize." uh, I just love that whole idea of like that's because we're all kind of petty bitches deep down inside, right?
No, I mean this is one of those times where Marge steps over into where she's not so perfect all the time.
Correct.
And she has her own human needs. But my favorite is when Bart goes, "Couldn't you just say you're sorry and not mean it? I do it all the time. I don't think I've ever meant it." And Marge
That's
is like,
not
"Wait a
right.
minute, that's not right." And he's like, "Sorry, Mom." See? It's just that easy. It is as good as any joke. Again, there's a lot of top tier jokes. The way that they Bart does the acting in that one. I'm forgetting her name.
Nancy Cartwright does a good job with
Nancy
that one.
does such a good job on it because he's like, "Sorry, Mom,"
Yeah.
and he sounds so sincere, and then just snap his hands and be like, "See."
So later that night, Homer goes to the club One Night Stands, which I love. STAN apostrophe S. That's
Apostrophe
great.
S.
And it seems like it's over between Marge and Homer, and Grady's kind of like, "Oh, so it's over?" He seems that you get a little hint that he might be interested in more than just having a roommate.
Homer says, "I used to look at Marge and get the same tingle you guys get when you see Rip Taylor." Which is, if you know what Rip Taylor looks like, then and who he is, it's funny.
There you go. I also love how the only solution to his troubles is the dance floor, and Homer's really getting into it.
He lets loose. He's having a
Yeah,
great old time.
like he's unbuttoning his shirt in a very suggestive way. He's spanking his own ass while the guys are going like, "Yeah, honey, you did it. You go, girl." And then we get a random lesbian looking at the dancing and goes, "I didn't think it was possible, but watching him makes me more lesbian." And I know you like the next part, which is Mole Man is at the club.
Is in there. He's dressed in like a World War II like veterans outfit.
Yeah, he's looking for his army reunion.
He's like, lesbian. This isn't. How's Mole Man go? This isn't my army reunion. And then there's a guy who's like a butch guy in like an army costume next to him. And he goes, "You're coming home with me." And
and the army costume was like cut off green shorts.
Oh yeah,
the butt, like the whole chest was
short sleeves.
Yeah, the sleeves looked like they
too. Jay got a bubble butt, bubble butt. Mm-hmm.
It looked like he ripped the sleeves and like pant legs off, you know, so I love it too. He's like, "You're coming home with me." Yes, Colonel.
It's hot. He's pretty hot.
There you go.
I go.
So the next day, Grady and Homer are watching TV, and the former is basically calling out everyone who's gay.
They're switching channels. It's like every new person on personality is gay. It's like gay, 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 bi, gay for pay. And Homer's like, Tennessee Williams? He's gay? But how did he survive in the world of theater?
Homer, please. Practically everyone who's acted in, produced, or even seen a play is gay.
It's true. No. I spent a lot of time in the theater with plays and the people that play in them, and that's only mostly true.
Well, it's not the first time that they've called out Broadway for being gay. They had that in the homophobic episode as well. It's
they love it.
Hey Homer, let me tell you what else is gay. Broadway.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So Julio tells Homer to come to the window, and Marge is there with the kids and Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah, Weird Al.
I also love how Weird Al was like, "Hey, as soon as Marge's check cleared and I got on the next reasonably priced flight,
I was here."
And he's like, "Wow, Weird Al Yankovic, did you get the parody songs I sent you?"
Yes.
Which one was better, Livin' La Pizza Loca or Another One Bites the Crust?
They were both pretty much the same, Homer.
Yeah, like you and Alan Sherman. And for folks who don't know, Alan Sherman was a satire musician from the 60s.
You probably know him best if you know that. Hello, Mudda. Hello, Fudda.
Pepperoni cheese.
He's living La Pizza Loca.
He'll eat thin crust deep dish.
Living La Pizza Loca.
The grease drips down his chin and his shirt's covered in mozzarella. He won't add pineapple.
Living a Pizza Loca. Stuffed crust. Living a Pizza Loca. Extra toppings. Living in Pizza Loca.
Woo!
Yeah. Killing it.
And I know you and I both love this Weird Al song. I actually have it on my Spotify playlist, so I hear it a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first two lines, and then you can pick it up on the third, okay?
Cool.
All right, here we go. Little ditty about Homer and Marge. Her heart was as big as his stomach was large.
Oh yeah, they say love goes on long after the grilled cheese sandwich is gone. Roll on.
And this might be my favorite.
I love that line so much.
Homer's next line too is really good. It would take a man of stone with a funny bone of steel to resist that. I just love that line.
Oh, I mean, it's Weird Al. He is rather a magical, human. He's
great. Homer agrees to go on a date with Marge, and I love the whole crack. He's like, I don't know, dating a chick with kids.
And Marge's like, let me take you a date. He's like,
I also like the back and forth that Julio and Lisa had.
Right. Well, because the pattern of it is like, Homer, would you let me take you out on a date? I don't know. Date a chick with kids? And Lisa's like, Dad. Oh, all right. And Julio goes, nice work, Lisa.
Yeah, and then it's like, I love you as a blonde. Oh, Lisa, if I was a little boy, I'd be so holding your hand right now. And then she gives like a little like, oh, yeah, cool.
Oh, she loves the attention. Like they're
Yeah.
such girlfriends. It's great.
So the next day, Homer is nervous, getting ready for the date. He shaves, and then he puts on fake stubble spray, and
Because they do show him when he shaves off that little 5 o'clock shadow they
yeah,
always have,
correct.
and his face looks weird.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
He looks almost infantile, like completely hairless.
right. Then he kind of panics. He's like, "Wait, Marge likes a little bit of stubble." So like, then he sprays his face, and it looks like mud. It does
It's
not
so
look good.
bad.
And
Ugh.
then Julio like basically is like, "Oh, you guys are nervous. Well, I got a cure for that: margaritas." And
Or it's
what's
like,
Homer's logic for this
margarita?
one? Yeah,
Margarita, that's Spanish for Margaret.
yeah, it's even worse. He goes, "That's Mexican for Marge."
Maybe I blocked that one out.
Yeah, right.
It's I love it.
But he basically takes it as a sign and he starts chugging the pitcher of
He
margaritas.
chugs the entire, and look, and margaritas don't have much else than tequila in them. Like he drank a pitcher of tequila.
Yeah, it's usually two alcohols. It's usually the triple sec and the
Uh-huh.
tequila.
Hmm.
And after a couple one of
And
those,
they're
you
gay, so they're not using triple sec. They're going to be using like a Cointreau.
fancy one,
Yeah.
yeah, probably
Hmm.
fresh lime juice.
Oh,
Yep,
you've got to no, you have to squeeze the limes
yeah,
fresh, or it's just
yes.
disgusting.
So the date is going to be at the medieval times, and we get a great sign gag. It
Wait,
goes,
wait.
jousting contest, Henry VI versus Spider-Man. And I just
Can we
imagine.
just talk about
Okay,
medieval
sure.
times?
Yeah, sure.
What a
Have you ever been?
terrible fucking. I've been like once. It was
Yeah.
awful. It was awful. Bad wine, bad food, pathetic fucking displays. I don't know. It's never been my thing. Maybe I went to a bad one.
We did a summer vacation to Vegas and we stayed at the Excalibur, and we were kids, so they took us to see the medieval times basically type of show where you're eating
Hmm.
Cornish gang hens with your hands and drinking Pepsi.
Yeah, I think I was in like my mid-20s. It was not it's thrilling.
Yeah. So Marge is alone and wondering where Homer is, and then we cut back to the apartment. He's just chugging margaritas with the guys. So, and then it cuts back to medieval times, and this is a joke that if you.
Wait. Before we go,
sorry, go for it.
before we go back. Right. So we show Marge at medieval times. The guy comes out and does his thing, and then they switch back to the condo, and Homer's sitting there continuing to drink margaritas, and he's like, "I've learned so much living here. It doesn't matter what somebody's sexual preferences are, unless they're a celebrity, in which case it's dish, dish, dish." And then Julio's like, "Homer, you were supposed to meet your wife a half hour ago." And he goes, "Dope. You don't have a gay time machine, do you?" And he goes, "Yes, it's called Grady's shoe closet."
There you go.
That little back and forth is hilarious. So
And
Homer's really messed up.
yeah, he is. He is.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming he's going to get a taxi ride there or something like that.
Mhm.
So we see when they go back to the medieval times that comic book guy has like a spear in his chest with blood coming out, and they're dragging his unconscious body like out like of the arena.
I know. It's kind of random. It's like they pulled somebody in to joust with somebody who
Right.
actually got stabbed.
Especially when in the scene before at medieval times, they're talking about who wants to challenge me, who is in good health with no heart conditions and is not pregnant,
And of course, it's comic book guy who wants to do that.
Right.
But
And then,
I think he's too big for him to have missed him with the jousts.
yeah, no shit, right? Hitting the broadside of a barn here.
Well, he's gone now. We'll miss you.
And we get the king making proclamations, which are basically shout outs. So he's like, "Hey, scout troop, doing great. Happy birthday, whatever." And then the spotlight goes on Marge, and she's all by himself. And then a drunk Homer comes rushing in. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm late. The Velvet Mafia made me a margarita. I couldn't refuse."
I love that line. The Velvet Mafia made me a margarita I couldn't refuse. I think that is an excuse I'll have to pick up and use in the future.
There you go.
Oh,
I
yeah.
also love how Marge is just over it. She's like, "Goodbye, Homer. I tried to save our marriage. You just get drunk and spend the whole night with your homosexual boyfriends." And then she's leaving, and she's
Stomps
like,
off.
she goes by, and she's like, "Oh, Reverend Lovejoy, Mrs. Lovejoy, Principal Skinner, Duff Man."
And
And I
they
love
all
this.
they're like
Well,
faces are just like
yeah,
shocked.
yeah. What I love about it too is like, okay, the preacher and his wife, the principal of the school, those are like high moral people in the society, right? But then the Duff Man is just so random, but it fits with Homer because
He's the super mask one, you know?
yeah, but Homer wouldn't want to disappoint Duff Man. He probably idolizes Duff Man more than Lovejoy.
Well, these are supposed to be the people in the community that would be judging. That's who
Correct.
they're supposed to be.
Yeah. So back at the apartment, Grady's trying to cheer up Homer. They're sitting on a bed in Homer's room, and this is basically what's going to lead up to the big kiss. And out of all the lines that Homer says, I really love this one. He's like, "I'm like David Spade without Chris Farley, alone and useless."
Oh, it's so sad.
It's so sad. It's so true.
But Grady the whole time is like, certain people aren't right for each other. You gave it a chance, it didn't work. At least you tried.
Correct.
And he's being so nice to Homer. And then
And
he says, "Oh, Homer, a guy as cool as you and as special as you would have no trouble. Believe me." And he leans in and he smooches him right on the lips. And what I love is that Homer doesn't pull away. He's not like freaked out. I mean, he's a little freaked
so
out,
his eyes
but he
grow
doesn't have like a
wide.
reaction of disgust,
No, but he's shocked. He's not
Yeah.
disgusted because his
Yeah.
eyes do go wide. Like he
But he
initially
keeps
kind of
kissing.
yeah. And I also like he's like, wow, I never realized you felt that way about me. We should take some time to talk. Rolls off bed, jumps out window. I'll just end up hurting your feelings. Footstep, footstep, footstep.
We both love it because it's the classic, like, I just have a feeling. As he, like,
And then Grady
screams.
kind of looks down, is sad, and that's basically the last time we see Julio or Grady for this entire episode.
Well, I mean, like, clearly Grady had a crush on our Homer.
Right, and it's one of those
And
things that what I like about it is it was a very subtle crush. He wasn't like gaga goo goo Twitter pated over him. It was just like, oh, this guy, I kind of like him.
So it's one of the things about this episode I find interesting is like throughout, like Grady is expressing some of his displeasure with their relationship and the dynamic and how Julio treats him in it. There's a couple of times where that becomes clear, and at the same time we see a couple of incidents of him liking Homer's reactions to things and how he looks at the world, and he's definitely fallen a little bit for our
I didn't even look this up, but Julio is definitely Hank Azaria, right? Like he's just doing the bird. He's doing the birdcage voice.
Because that was who was supposed to be Harvey Fierstein, right?
No, Harvey Fierstein was just going to come back as Carl and do like a role. So he probably would have been at like the club or something like that, or on the trolley.
Yeah. I got you.
Or maybe he would have been rollerblading with Smithers. That would have been cute.
There you go.
So basically, what does Homer do whenever he has this kind of weird big life event kind of happen? He has to go to Moe's.
Yeah.
Has to go to Moe's.
I love this. So Homer's there and he's like, I was just thinking, Mo, my problems with Marge started because I drink too much. And then tonight, alcohol only made things worse. Maybe all of my problems are actually caused by...
Yeah. Take your medicine, you lush you. And he just shoves a beer bottle down his throat and forces him to chug.
In a little bit of that there.
Yeah.
But it is just, it's classic Mo, like, yeah, lushy, come on, booze up here.
Mo, I was just thinking, my problems with Marge started because I drink too much. And then tonight, alcohol only made things worse. Maybe all of my problems are actually caused by...
Yeah. Take your medicine, yeah, lush, yeah.
Yeah, and then he forces him to drink so much that he ends up pushing him in a shopping cart to the emergency room with a sign that says alcohol poisoning. He turns it around, and it's Wiggum, Lou, and Eddie. And
like, what happened?
And so he throws another bar under the bus. I forget what it is, like Flanagan's or something like this.
Harrigan's bar.
Yeah, it sounds Irish, right? Like it's like,
he was drinking over at Harrigan's. You should shut that dump down.
And the cops don't even do anything, and he kind of just like salters off, like kind of sheepishly. So we up in the hospital room.
He's admitted to the said hospital.
And Dr. Hibbert is helping him out, and there's a fun visual gag of a giant Duff bottle that they're like that's hooked up to Homer, and he's like, "Look at all the alcohol we took out of your system."
Still not as bad as the first time we treated you.
And this bottle looks like it's about 6 feet tall. It's a giant bottle.
It's full, and there's just a hose leading from his arm into the bottle.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. And then Hibbert mentions that on the first night with alcohol poisoning, which is the same date that was being remembered before. Words are hard, folks. And
because Homer's like, that's the night that destroyed my marriage.
Correct. And Hibbert mentions, like, I've never seen someone more devoted in my life. You guys look perfect for each other, type of cons. And he's like, I have a tape to prove it. And he's like, why do you have tapes? He's like, well, I think the nurse is stealing sponges.
It's so random, but there's a callback later.
So the tape shows the affection and convinces Homer Marge truly loves him. Marge arrives in the modern moment, and he's like, and I will always love you.
Wait. So the flashback is the night of. Hibbert's like, he's stable. I'll leave you two alone. Marge is there and like, homie, I was so worried about you. This is the night that he thinks she left, hating him. And she's like, I was so worried about you. I was really mad at you tonight, but you're a good person. That's what I see most of the times. Whatever problems we have a lifetime to work them out together. It is such a sweet.
Yeah, thank you for filling in those details, because I was just like, Homer and Marge being mushy together.
She married me because she loved me.
And I still do.
Marge, I never want to be apart from you again.
Well, you'll never have to.
That is the best kiss I've had tonight. Or was it?
Homie, what are you thinking?
Manly thoughts.
That was my biggest take. So Homer gets a kiss from Marge, and after they're done kissing, goes, "That is the best kiss I've had tonight." And then he's thinking, he goes, "Or was it?" And Marge very sweetly like, "Homie, what are you thinking?" Manly thoughts. Manly thoughts. And then we get this ending is so fucking weird. Like, I don't know.
We have a 2 epilogue ending here.
It's very, very, very strange, because we cut to the future with Dr. Hibbert. He's like basically mentioning that he's like, all I have now are my tapes.
So it ends with them kissing, and then we pull back and he's watching them on the screen kissing, and it turns and he's old now. He's got like
correct
white hair.
Yeah, and he's in a giant room with a bunch of VHS tapes everywhere.
It's dark in the room.
It's dark, and just with a little TV, like, and he's just like, all I have now are my tapes.
Now are my tapes.
And then he sees the nurse stealing sponges
with a bunch of sponges in her eyes, and he's like, I knew it.
It's so weird.
We were talking about this earlier. Josh was like it's so random. I'm like, the nurse thing there is so they could do this little callback. Like, they had, I think, written this without that in it, and somebody had this great idea. They're like, it'd be funny, we could add in here this little joke. And
but you know what I think happened is the episode was short by like a minute. And they're like, we need one more scene. We can't just have them kiss and have that be it. Wait, we can do a callback for the nurse stealing it. We'll just show Hibbert in the future for some reason.
It's so good. It's so good. Hibbert's sitting there in the dark room. He's like, Howard Hughes sitting there just watching the TV. And that's all he has left.
Yeah, it very much reminded me of the same room that comic book guy had for Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And he would just have all these tapes or maybe that was another episode. But we've seen that kind of setup before, where it's like lots of bookcases with lots of VHS tapes and one little TV with one little chair.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get another Weird Al song.
Our second epilogue. It's fantastic.
Yep. So I'll go ahead and take the first 4 lines here, and then you can pick up where Weird Al is saying. Sound good?
Yep.
Sweet. All right. That's a story about Homer and Marge, 2 folks I helped out for a nominal charge. After Homer went gay, they patched up their schism, but the dude never dealt with his alcoholism.
Weird Al saying, oh yeah, the credits go on, long after the viewer's interest is gone. Oh yeah, Weird Al had fun on the show, even if it's just a brief cameo.
Yeah.
Rock on.
I do like that song a lot. That might be my favorite thing of this entire episode. Robin, do you hear that sound?
What's that, Josh?
Well, you know what time it is. It's the
Krusty
Brand Seals of Approval!
My My fair little.
I love how every time we do that, we pop the mics every single time. Every single time. And I don't ever want it to change.
The struggles of being professional podcasters, Josh.
Yes, sir. Well, you picked the episode, so why don't you go first with your final thoughts and Krusty score?
I love this episode. There's just a ton of jokes, and we've talked about this. There's some that have kind of running gags, and there's others where they just pack in joke after joke after joke. And I love that about this episode. I thought they were hilarious. I like the message of it as well. And this was not normal for the time for network television on 8 o'clock at night, family time, to show this stuff. Gay love, normalizing relationships between gay men and straight men, even living together as roommates and just being straight men and gay men. I love the messages about marriages and relationships, about, it's not always going to be perfect, but that's the whole point of it, is that we go through all of the challenges. I think that's a phenomenal message. There was some controversy about the gay guys being a bit stereotypical, but I didn't feel that way. I mean, I think that's really nitpicking. It's reminiscent of Hank Azaria in the Birdcage, who did the exact same voice, basically. And it is now stereotypical, but nobody cares in the gay community because we all know that guy. We know hundreds of that guy. And it's a great stereotype. Wonderful. And I thought specifically that showing Homer kissing this guy, the guy kissing him, and not reacting by being disgusted was a forward thing to do in 2003. So I love that aspect of it, but the jokes are so solid beyond that. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I was going to give it a 4, but when we were discussing it before recording, I changed my mind. I love the joke so much. Weird Al and Bart with the lie and saying I'm sorry and everything in this. I just think it's amazing. So I'm going to give it a 5.
Excellent.
Nice. Right on. Yeah, I hear you about the stereotypes, but I know gay guys like that.
Everybody does.
I've met the sassy Latino, who talks to
Listen.
the list. I used to work with 2 of them at Lin's and things, for shit's sakes. Like,
there's gay ass Kevins out there. I mean, let's call them Kevins. Gay ass Karens. We'll call them Kevins.
Sure. And then I liked Grady's character because he was obviously gay, but he wasn't like super flaming or anything like
100%.
that. It was very subtle.
Normal gay guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and he seemed like kind of like the nice guy. He's like, I'm the one who wants everyone just to be like happy and have a good time and eat a good breakfast.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, here are my thoughts. 3 Gays of the Condo has some great moments. The Weird Al songs are fabulous. Bart's lines about repressing memories and faking apologies is hilarious. It's very hilarious. Lisa's cute scenes reading a bedtime story to Homer and her complimenting Julio's new hair color was just adorbs. I love it. And I so really laughed my ass off. I almost did a spit take when I first saw it, when Moe just forces that goddamn booze down Homer's throat. Take your medicine, you lush. And unfortunately, that was really about it. I thought the opening puzzle plot went a bit long. The gay jokes were okay. The kiss with Grady didn't do much for me, and the ending was weird. Not sure why we had to see a future Hibbert and his tapes were a callback joke. Maybe I figured it out when we talked about it and it was runtime. I don't know. And then there's the conflict between Marge and Homer. No one changed their ways. No lessons was learned. But at all at the same time, the marriage was never in doubt. We all knew by the end of it, rubber band reality would reset the relationship. And this to me makes the stakes feel low for the conflict. And like they even make fun of themselves in the Weird Al song. He's like, he didn't deal with his alcoholism. And so this is one of those ones that I enjoyed our conversation with it. I like it overall, but I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 for me. This doesn't hit me as hard. And I think part of the reason is like, I am not part of that community.
Yeah,
it's homophobia. Yeah. And I do think it would hit me a little bit different if I was gay, just to be blunt.
Well, I mean, look, so 100%. I really taken the time, and I love this so much because of the strides that they were making that other television shows would have been terrified to make. And the depiction is so important. Representation is so important to start normalizing it in society, and it's come a long way in 7 years. No, sorry, 22 years since this episode aired. But I mean, we're making leaps and bounds.
Oh,
My
absolutely.
nephew
Yeah.
was like at his school. Like, I mean, he went to kind of he's got them learning challenges, which was a smaller school, but he's like it's cool. Like if you're part of that's what the cool kids are. Is like they're like the cisgender kids. They're like,
I would love to see a new Simpsons episode where they just show Smithers in his private life.
Yeah.
Just like a weekend in the life of Waylon Smithers, and what does he do?
Look, I mean, do an episode where he comes out to everybody.
Actually, that would be cool.
That would be
huge.
great. Yeah, including like Mr. Burns.
Right, and Mr. Burns is just confused by it. Like he doesn't understand. You know what I mean?
He's like, yes. I mean, we always had those people when I was,
yeah. There you go. No, because I don't. Yeah. Anyway, right on, man. Well, thank you for picking that episode, and let's say that's a wrap for Sacrilicious with Robin and Snurse. If you're feeling generous, then please leave a 5-star review with a few sentences. We are currently on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcast. My shout-outs. I'm going to say thanks to all the protesters for standing up for your rights. The No King rallies that I was seeing over the weekend was really amazing. Stay safe out there, stay strong, and keep protesting peacefully. I also want to thank my Aunt Eileen, who's organizing a family trip to Victoria Island. Eileen always goes above and beyond. She is giving us itineraries, lists of activities that we could potentially do, and she's really putting a lot of work into this, so we all will have a good time. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing not only my close family, like my sisters and my mom, but also my aunts and cousins and uncles as well. So I'm hoping
I
have
have such a fantasy about Victoria Island. Like it just seems like this gorgeous natural kind of untouched land up there off the coast of Vancouver. My parents went there with my brother once. They loved it.
Yeah, I've never been.
There's almost nothing like for miles. Like there's
cool.
like a couple of hotels on the whole
thing. Yeah, like we're gonna go to like a museum and do some whale watching and have some dinners. Nothing too fancy, but still gonna be a good time. And this is my first time ever using a passport, so I feel like a grown-ass man now.
Really?
Yeah. I got my passport for this for the first time, and the first stamp will be good old Canada. And I'm also going to probably have to buy a t-shirt that says, I'm an American and I'm sorry.
It sounds great video, just like a reel where somebody was checking into a hotel in Canada.
Yeah.
And she's like, and where are you coming from? He's like, I'm coming from the United States. And the woman like presses a button under the counter.
Yeah.
And like the counter pops up and she walks out. She goes up to him. She looks at him in the eyes. And then just gives him a big hug. Just patting him on the back.
Well, in addition to finding a currency that my dad left me, I also found the Canada-American flag pin that he has. It just shows both the flags next to each other. So maybe I'll have to put that on my bag to show that I'm one of the good ones.
No. Boy, snatching stuff and like, we don't need that association.
Yeah. Finally, because we are recording on Father's Day, I know this will come out a week later, but I still want to say happy Father's Day to all who qualify. If you still have your dad in your life, give him an extra big hug, because you never know when you're going to lose that fucker.
Always.
And then you're going to be very, very sad when you do. Take it from someone who's going through it. My father's passing, it's probably one of the worst things that ever happened in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing because it hurts.
Yeah, I mean, it's worse than anything.
So anyway, treat your father right. I know moms get all the attention for Mother's Day, but just let your dad have something. Do something nice for him. Buy something nice for him. Show him that you love and respect them. And finally, Dr. Moxford, the raddest fan of them all.
The doctor.
Do you want to hear more from your old pal Snurts? Bless your heart.
Nope.
Then check out the PlayStation Experience on your podcast platform of choice.
This is usually when most people click off. They're
yeah,
like,
exactly.
You hear more from your old pals nerds? Click.
That's true. I see it every time. It's like 10 minutes to go in the episode. Also, I had a really fun recording on the PSVG podcast as well, and our buddies Brenton and Katie listened in and commented as well. So we were laughing. We're having a good old time. So if you want to have a bunch of guys talk about mostly video games and some other things, PSVG is a good source as well. And finally, I can be found on most of the things, as always, at Lord_Snurts. Robin, any outro plugs, etc.?
Absolutely. I just want to acknowledge the great fathers in my life. You know, Simon, Julian, Max, Hugh, Steve. I'm missing terribly a lot, but that's okay. And my own father. I am the luckiest person in the world that I got my father to be my father. I
feel the exact same way. I want to trade it for the world.
And let's celebrate some gay pride, Josh. Especially these days, it's clear and obvious. There's still so much hate in Florida with trans kids. So coming out in the streets and dancing, declaring that we are proud to be who we are is important as ever. So happy Pride, my friends.
And folks at home can't see it, but this is why I'm wearing rainbow nipple tassels for this entire episode, because that's how I'm going to support Pride Month.
And he's got some little moves, and so they are really spinning.
Oh yeah, no, these titties flop. So our goal is to get the next episode out on July 13th. I picked Simpson and Delilah from season 2. I really love that episode. Homer gets hair, he gets a promotion at work, and he gets this assistant Carl, as we mentioned before, with Firestein as the guest. And it is just one of the sweetest episodes, I think, from the early seasons. It's really, really nice.
I can't wait. I haven't watched it in a long time. I'm really excited about it.
It's one that whenever I go back to watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, I really do like this episode. It's just so sweet. Carl is such a good person for Homer and really tries to get him to become you deserve this. Anyway, that's for the next episode, Josh. Shut up and finish this goddamn podcast. So Robin, hit me with that sweet, sweet quote.
Oh yeah, they say love goes on long after the grilled cheese sandwich is gone.
Fabulous. So until next time, folks, smell you later, true believers.
Hey, Waylon.
Who's the bear?
Tell that to the brave crew of the SS Triangle.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.